Notts County talk, match reaction. It's the last home game of the season. It was against Colchester in a game where we've won 1-0. To be honest, it could have been 5-6, maybe even 7. They didn't offer anything. It's not the game I predicted. I thought they would come out flying, knowing that a win could and would in hindsight have made them safe. They just didn't show anything. They showed very early on that they wanted to waste time, and they took tactical breaks for injuries very early in the game. They just sat in that low block. They disrupted the play. They were very tactical with their fouls, fairly dirty. And that's not me sort of just picking apart. It's just what I saw from the game. And they just never really came to win. And that made it very easy for Notts, because we saw, and Jake, who you've seen on channel many times, said it to me, they may as well have just come here and played like Sutton did and just pressed us and pressed us and pressed us. Now, they may not have the personnel for that, but I think that would have made it more of a contest and given them more of an opportunity to try and hurt Notts in areas and ways that other sides have. But they didn't do that. They sat back, and we've seen when teams sit back. Bradford springs to mind, sat back 4-0 at half-time, came out second half and pressed us and nearly caused a comeback. So, I don't think they went about the game properly or in the right manner, but it looks like they're going to be safe anyway. A very late goal in the game for Crawley against Sutton, so, they are virtually safe. They've got a game in hand as well. Yeah, fair play to them for staying up. Lots and lots of draws this season for them as well, and they beat us at their place by scoring 5, and they haven't scored today. So, in terms of Notts, I thought it was a good performance, as good as it could really have been. There wasn't anything on the line. There was no pressure like there was on Tuesday night playing against, well, what kind of little pressure there was, even though Notts had nothing to play for, playing against the champions-elect, already promoted Stockport. There wasn't any of that. Players looked like they enjoyed the performance. There was a lot of very, very good performances out there. I'll go through a few of those in a second. And just as a team, I just enjoyed watching it. I really did enjoy watching it. I don't know what anyone else thought. Maybe people thought it was boring. I thought it was a pretty good game from Notts. Maka got his goal. Pretty much seals him being the top scorer in League Two. Unless, there's a lot of goals scored in the final day by the couple of players behind him. I thought Jim was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I'm thinking to myself, if he's a couple of years younger playing like that, he's probably a starting midfielder for us next season. But it's probably going to be his last game at Meadow Lane. I think he's someone you want to keep around the place, without a doubt. You want to keep him at Meadow Lane in some kind of capacity. He's been brilliant for the last few games. Him and Scott Robertson in midfield, if that's the level we're getting from those two, I'm really excited to have Palmer back and pair him with Robertson, because I thought the difference, and I know we're playing a very different opposition, but the difference from Tuesday night against Stockport, the energy we had when we had Robertson in midfield, absolutely outstanding. Aaron the man again causing lots of issues. Excited to see how he is next season. Jody, if any of those fans that stayed would have seen that he won Player of the Season. Fans Player of the Season. Also shout out to Aaron the man for his goal against Walsall that won Goal of the Season. I will personally give it to Macquarie away at Gillingham. But there was just some really, really good performances in there. I might have missed a few players out. Great to see Kedwin get even more minutes under his belt. I thought Cameron was really good today, and I do think there's a place for him in this side next season, whether that be at left back if we go to a back four. But there's just something about him, especially when he attacks, and I just think he offers a lot, because we're going to be a team that build up from the back. He offers an awful lot. So loads of positive performances in there. Yes, take the opposition into account. Yes, take the pressure gone, completely for this season. We go to Forest Green, who are obviously already relegated next weekend. Let's see what we can do there. Could we finish the season with 2 wins? Could we finish the season with 3 wins in the last 4? Or would it be 4 wins in the last 5 if we get the win there? Things are looking up. Maynor's name sung at the end there. He still needs to do quite a lot to convince a number of fans. There's still doubt obviously there, but let's go into the next season now. Seeing the players do the lap of the pitch, thinking, yeah, we're back in League Two. We've consolidated this season. Yes, it's not been the season we wanted, but that disappointment for me is gone now. The playoff disappointment, and just think to myself, let's go again next season. There's going to be a lot of changes. We've got to reinforce. I think we've got to make sure the squad is streamlined enough to have players off the bench that can impact games, because we missed that. But also we've got to have strength in there as well. And I just think next season, you never know. We could be sat here next season and that lap of honour could be a promotion lap of honour. It could be that it's getting in the playoffs. Anything can happen in this league. 3 very strong teams have gone up. We've got some teams coming down that I don't necessarily think they all match the strength of the teams that have gone up. Who would like to go up from the playoffs? Probably Milton Keynes Dons. But, let's just see what next week brings. Let's see what the summer brings. But Meadow Lane is done. No pre-season friendlies. So Meadow Lane is done for another season. We'll be back there in August. But not a bad way to sign off. A very solid performance. 1-0 against Colchester United.